Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Hayden with the Hill Pursuit podcast. This is episode 77 of the show, and this is going to be the Happy Valley 70.3 race recap. Last episode was actually the Happy Valley 70.3 race preview, where I kind of walked through some real time phone notes that I took, some voice notes I took in real time, some summaries of my perspective on some of the bike course, transition areas, swim, run stuff. So this is a full recap of everything. And little spoiler alert, I did crash during the bike course, got up, finished, slugged through the run. So you'll hear a little bit of that perspective, that story, how that happened, why it happened, where it happened, and how it kind of affected the rest of my day. But this is an episode with Coach Kenny, and he said it perfectly. This race turned into a new kind of PR, and it's one that I was really proud of when I crossed the finish line. The race was a lot of fun. Of course, nobody plans to crash, but still learned a lot. Had a great experience. Got to race with a lot of Victory Multisport athletes. If you're from Victory Multisport, I give quite a few shout outs, so make sure you listen for those at the onset of this episode. And talk a little bit about how everybody performed, which was just fantastic. It was really cool. Give my perspective on some of the transition areas, some race logistics, some good, some bad. Of course, talk about the swim, talk about the bike course, talk about the hills. Check in with Coach Kenny. Kenny actually had pretty crazy experience on a big elevation hike where he saw a bear. We talk about that story. Talk about spectator friendly stuff, whether it was good or bad at Happy Valley, and maybe some things that they could potentially improve moving into, of course, an extended contract with that race venue. Did finish the race, super happy with it. Another one under the belt, not at all what I planned, but again, this turned into a different kind of race finish and a different kind of PR for me personally. So I was really thrilled to cross the finish line. Again, that's not my mindset anymore. I have more specific performance goals, but this one changed on a dime at around mile 49 of the bike course. So listen in for that story and kind of how that happened. If you are listening, thanks for following along with the show. If you're listening on a streaming service, so Spotify, Podbean, Google, wherever you get your podcasts, don't forget we do have a YouTube channel, Hill Pursuit. So check that out. We have some cool race recaps, previews, just some other cool training videos, race day, race morning stuff. So check that out if you want to, and give us a like and a follow. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, other socials at Hill Pursuit. If you want to reach out to me directly, you can email me, hillpursuit@gmail.com. And then this episode, all other episodes, coaching information, nutrition information, blog posts can all be found at hillpursuit.com. So check out the website. Really appreciate you listening. This is episode 77 of the Hill Pursuit podcast. Enjoy the show. What's up, man? How we doing?
Oh, good. Just got back from Yosemite this weekend, so no complaints
Yeah,
here.
I know. We have to talk about that. Saw a couple pictures and they looked pretty awesome, dude. Like a postcard.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you gotta make up for all the taxes you pay for in California one way or another, right? That's my
Oh,
favorite way to do it, dude.
yeah, for real. That's awesome. Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, here we go. Episode 77. Um, I wanted to get this out for a little bit, so I'm glad it worked out that we could sit down and do this. But yeah, so last episode was a Happy Valley 70.3 race preview. So this one is naturally just going to be Happy Valley 70.3 race recap, and I'll probably touch on a little bit of just the day in general, I guess, but um, we haven't really talked about it in person anyway. So we'll talk about, like, I guess, my race also and kind of how it went for me. But I kind of want to talk more about just how the day was just in general also. But because recently I did blog. I put up a little blog post about kind of how my race went. So, had a little incident, late in the bike leg, around mile 49.50. I crashed pretty hard and blogged about it and got some really great support and people reaching out to make sure I'm good. And I am good, obviously. So, but yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more. I really just wanted to we haven't done an episode since the race preview. I wanted to get this out. It's a natural progression. You have a race preview, you have a race recap. So that's kind of where we're at. Here we are. But yeah, dude, tell me about your training, because as a reminder for people, if you're listening, Coach Ken is I guess for lack of a better term, pursuing a 140.6 in the very near future. So how's that going for you, dude?
Everything's been going well. Biking and running has definitely gotten a little bit easier. The biking, because the Sacramento Ironman is predominantly flat, which is sweet.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to get a little bit more comfortable in the saddle, which I've been able to maintain for pretty much every single ride for about the past month and a half, which has been great. The swim,
Well, dude,
it's
you've got a new
what's up?
saddle, though. You got a new
I
saddle,
know.
right? Tell us about
Yeah.
that.
I got a Trek, what is it, Equinox bike. It's pretty sweet. Bought it off of eBay, so I'm pretty stoked to use that finally.
Yeah,
And not use some 24-hour stationary bike things. So, definitely looking forward to that. And yeah, man, I mean, the biking has been going great. I can't wait to get outside and actually enjoy some of California's beautiful weather instead of being cooped up in like a closet in my gym.
yeah.
And yeah, so the biking I'm looking forward to, and then the running's been, fine and easy for me so far. So no complaints there. The swimming is still a little bit of an issue, especially with some of the ankle pain that I've been experiencing, but I've been managing it and trying to focus a little bit more on the mobility side of things. And because I realized that I have like zero plantar flexion in my ankles, so I think that's the reason as to why I've been having so many issues. And then also on top of that, I've been recording myself swimming, and I don't move almost at all at my hip. So I think that's why I'm overcompensating with my ankles, which is causing me to
Uh,
have a little bit of pain. So I played around with that a little bit today. I realized that I was able to stay in like a lot better streamline position, and my ankle didn't bother me at all. So I think I kind of figured it out. Um, but I'm going to stay on top of the mobility. I'm still going to use the pull buoy when I need to, just to make sure that I obviously don't hurt myself. And to be honest, like I know for myself when it comes to like the upper body side of things, I know I can still like power through the swim if I need to, but like I would prefer obviously not to if I didn't have to. I want to be as
yeah,
efficient as I can. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. The good thing, I'll have to look into this. I actually don't know off the top of my head. You might know just because you're racing it, but the good thing about the swim in these long course races, is that if it's wetsuit legal, so I don't know if you know about Sacramento. I honestly haven't looked into it, but if it's wetsuit legal, dude, you pretty much have to just move your arms and you'll get to the finish.
It is.
Yeah, okay. It's
Yeah.
typically wetsuit legal. It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I mean, if you don't experience any anxiety in the water, your stroke is decent, all of the above, right? That's not to say that anybody can hop in, move their arms, and get to the finish. That's definitely not the case. I didn't mean it to come off like that. But all the other variables aside, if you have good stroke mechanics, it sounds like you're working on them. That's great. Those wetsuits add a lot of help and support, obviously buoyancy. So um, you're kind of right. Like you could probably muscle through, and it's not something you don't want to muscle through 2.5 miles, right? But um,
No.
that's also why we ultimately train a lot of like bigger intervals, not necessarily yet, but bigger intervals, and using paddles, so you almost feel like you are getting like almost like an upper body pump. It's crazy. So I mean, you'll be able to have multiple tools to kind of pull from when you're in the water. So, yeah, dude, I'm glad to hear that it's going a little bit better. I know it's probably really frustrating.
Well, yeah, I think I said this even the last time I was on here with you too, but it's just like, the one form of exercise that everybody assumes is like safe and completely fine for everybody to perform, I'm
I know.
struggling with when it comes to pain the most. Because, dude, like I was telling you, like I think prepping for a marathon or running would actually probably beat up my ankles less than
That's
all
crazy.
the crap that I've been doing in the pool. So
Yeah.
I'm like, what the heck, man? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild. That is completely backwards. That's true.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. What else was I going to ask you? So yeah, what do you do at Yosemite?
We hiked the Upper Yosemite Falls Trail, and it was awesome. Went with a small group of friends. What was it? It was about four. I think it was like 4 miles, 4.2. But dude, the elevation game was crazy. Like I think the first mile was like 16 or 1,800 feet of elevation gain, and I think I
And
was carrying like around like a 30, 40 pound pack with me.
yeah,
So that was a good time. And I got my heart rate up a little bit on that. But my favorite thing in the world for hiking places like that is your heart hurts going up, your joints hurt coming down.
yeah,
And I definitely felt that crap on my knees, dude, coming down. But
yeah.
I'm good now, thankfully. But some of the guys and girls that we were with going up, they were definitely struggling as we were climbing, and I think they kind of underestimated how difficult the hike would be. But overall, definitely worth it for the sights. And I also actually saw we saw our first bear, like ever in the wild.
Dude,
And the thing was like probably, so I was with Grace. Grace is my wife, and we were we were probably about maybe 15, 20 yards away from the thing, and it
no,
just popped up out of nowhere as we were coming down.
nope.
And obviously, like, you see a bear, and immediately I hope most people know you're supposed to like yell and act big and whatever. But I was like, this thing didn't see me, so I'm like, I'm not gonna start screaming for no reason,
Yeah,
whatever. But like everybody was yelling on the bottom of the trail like bear, bear, bear. But I definitely did have like a what the heck moment. Like I've
right.
never seen it in person, and I was like, that thing is huge, dude.
Ali, no, thank you, dude. That's funny you say that because nice little segue, right? It's funny you say
Yeah.
that because when we were doing a shakeout ride at the bike check for Happy Valley, I didn't see it, but someone else posted in like the social media group that they saw a bear on the first mile of the bike course. So like it's not like they went off on a weird course. They were on the bike course and they saw a bear the day before the race. So I'm just like praying I don't see this thing. I mean, at least we're on a bike and we can, at least like put out some
Hey,
positive
bro, you might
speed.
be. Yeah, I was about to say you might be hitting the PR for that output there, dude.
Golly,
might
but
be might be breaking that bike train.
yeah, that irked me a little bit. I don't play around with I don't play around with that stuff. I've never seen one. I think I would
No.
completely crap myself if I did. So
And dude, I have to say this too because when the bear kind of went off by itself or whatever, it kind of just climbed like this little mountain peak thing, and it was just doing its own thing. It's probably seen a million people, right? It's just so funny the world that we live in because like Grace and I walk down and then we see it sitting on top of this like hillside, right? It was still only maybe like 40, 50 yards away from us. But we were like, okay, crap, let's take a picture and some videos real quick and then get the heck out of here, right? Then like 20, 30 people, maybe not that much, a lot of people all like corral around that one area. And dude, we are living in 2023 because everybody else is just taking videos and pictures. And I'm like, dude, that 400 or 500 pound animal could be down here in a half a second. I'm like, I'm gonna leave.
put your phone away. Yeah, put your
Yeah,
phone away.
I'm not gonna sit around here and find out, man. So, but it was cool. It was really cool.
Yeah, no, no thanks. Um,
Yeah.
frick. Anyways, before I dive into the Happy Valley, like I guess a recap, I just got to give a shout to some people who just like raced awesome at Happy Valley. Some victory multi-sport athletes, people that I have trained with, and some people I coach, but just awesome stuff. So, um, first, I got to give a shout to Candace and Kate for qualifying for 70.3. Yeah, we both work with Kate quite a bit. 70.3 Worlds. So they're going to be traveling to Finland. I believe it's in late August. So just intense.
August 26th, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
um, that was just so cool to see. Working with those two athletes is awesome. I know you've worked with Kate quite a bit as well. So, but yeah, Kate and Candace, big congrats there. Then we had a really cool a relay of some athletes that I coach. Rachel did a swim, Brian did the bike leg, and Nick did the run leg. And I honestly don't remember off the top of my head, but I know they placed pretty high in terms of relays. I think they were in the teens. I know they were in the teens overall, which is just awesome. So that was really cool. Had a couple people, Brett and Tristan, complete their first ever 70.3, and both just like completely crushed it. They're two, they're bros for sure. Like they're bros outside of Victory Multisport, and they're bros inside of Victory Multisport is pretty awesome. So I got to make sure I hit the people I need to hit here. I'm going to save Aaron for a little bit because I'm saving Aaron O because well, I'll get to it in a second, but I think that's actually it. In terms of like people that I work with or train with pretty regularly, but I'm saving Aaron. Aaron, another 70.3 dude. He's been crushing 70.3s all season. He, coming into the race was a little like, I don't know if overtrained was the right word, but burnt out. And sometimes people use those interchangeably, but just like needing motivation. And because he's already raced so many very challenging 70.3s. He's traveled across the country a handful of times. He's from California, actually.
I was just gonna ask. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I do follow, or I've seen his Instagram before. I was gonna ask
Yeah.
if he was from here.
Yeah. Also, sidecar, Instagram is just absolutely fire, Aaron. So AO is just like crushing the Instagram game. But so he's flying across the country to race at Happy Valley, and just needs some motivation. Anyway, we were together on a lot of the bike leg without even really trying it. He came out of the water like 10 seconds before me. We were in transition together. He probably had like 30 seconds to 45 seconds faster transition. So he took off a little bit on the bike, and I was just kind of gathering myself. But then around like mile, geez, what was it? Around mile 40 to like 50 ish, we were basically just like going back and forth. Like he would chill on the hills, and I'd kind of like push the hills, and um, then he would like cruise past me on a flat, or vice versa, whatever. But we were back and forth, and honestly, we were hoping to run the half marathon together. And by the looks of like how he ran it, I probably could have, like, that would have been so fun. So Aaron, I'm sorry that didn't work out, but anyways, rewind and kind of start from the top here. Um, the day itself. So here we go into the recap. So if you stuck with us this long, thanks. But here we go into the recap. The swim was wetsuit legal, and it was at Bald Eagle State Park, which was actually like 28 miles away from transition 2. So the logistics of race morning were super annoying. You either had to park at Beaver Stadium and take a shuttle 28 miles to the swim, or you had to have somebody drop you at the swim. But if someone dropped you at the swim, they weren't allowed to leave the swim location until the last swimmer was out on the bike course. And it was just like, honestly, a logistical nightmare. So I ended up getting dropped off. I had family there, but then they kind of got screwed and had to stay there way too long, even after the last biker. So, and it was just a huge cluster. So it just was not spectator friendly at T1, unfortunately.
You've done that race before, right?
This is the first time it's ever been held.
Oh, it's the first time. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. Okay. I was
Yeah.
about to ask. Yeah. Then that makes more sense then, I guess.
Yeah. So logistically, I'm sure they'll tighten that up next year, and I think they got a couple of years in the contract, but if not more, right? It was an awesome race. I hope they keep coming back. I'd love to do it again, but yeah, T1 and those logistics race morning were super annoying. So, anyways, that that stress is right off the bat, but The swim was wetsuit legal, and honestly, it was probably the easiest swim I may have like ever had personally in like a big long course race. There were two turns the entire swim, a right and a right. It was just a big triangle.
Oh, so that makes your oh the breathing then, right?
Yeah, so
Right.
you breathe to the right, you have all your sighting buoys, which was perfect for me because that's how I naturally breathe comfortably too.
That's what I was just
Um,
gonna say. Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
and you're like, I don't know, I guess if I had to guess, 800 meters in, you're taking a right, and then another eight, 600, whatever it was, I don't know. You take another right, and then you're home. I mean, it was just a huge triangle, so there were only two turns, and you entered and
That's
exited.
sweet.
Yeah, pretty much the same location, which was really nice. So the swim was honestly cake, very easy, and also just friendly for just logistically like breathing and sighting. It was just really easy. So my game plan going into the swim, like I know I'm capable of like mid 30s minutes, um, because I've done it before, but I wanted to stay relaxed and because this bike course is no joke, so I wanted to like be as fresh as possible for the bike course. That was my big goal. And then kind of attack the bike course where I knew I could and then save my legs for the run. So whatever. I cruised the swim at like 38, 39 minutes and honestly that's even faster than I expected. So um I was just thrilled when I came out of the water and saw my watch that it even began with a 3 because I was literally just thinking, I'm just going to cruise this, keep it nice and easy. If it's somewhere between 40, 45, I really don't care. I just want to feel good when I come out. Anyways, so that was awesome. T1, super freaking annoying. We had to like run our bikes through basically like the woods of this state park for like a quarter mile before we got onto the mountain line. It was, we were like surrounded by other athletes. We're like, how far do we have to run these bikes? So like the T1 times were just like huge. Like usually it's like, 4, 6 minutes, whatever. People are in T1 who are like moving fast in like 8, 9 minutes. It was insane. Yeah. I don't even remember what mine was, probably 5 or 6 or something, but it was just like so long to get to the bike course. So that was like another uh like negative I guess I had from the start, I guess.
Is that pretty typical for like first time races
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I
or
mean,
like
so I rode the course beforehand and I envisioned it being very different. And then out of nowhere, there's like this path through the woods that everybody has to follow. And it was just really strange. I'd be shocked if they did that again. There's there's enough concrete that they could easily change the route to get to the bike course, but it would limit some parking. So I don't know if they're going to want to do that or not. But through the woods was just ludicrous. And then we're mounting on this road that is only a 2-lane road and everyone's mounting on one side the width of a single vehicle when other athletes who've already gone through are passing coming back on the other side again the width of a single vehicle. So it was very dangerous mounting at T1. Like people were swerving into the oncoming cyclists. I imagine something bad happened there. I didn't see it, but I saw very close calls. People mount their bikes like idiots. Like they're wobbling all over the place. They're still dizzy from the swim, and they're like literally inches from getting taken out by someone at 40 miles an hour, 30 miles an hour. It was just like I was just like, I need to get out of here, just get on the bike and go. So yeah, so the mounting thing at T1 was also really weird. T1 mount was strange, but I don't know. Onto the bike. You got anything?
I mean, no, I was just gonna say, I mean, it just sounds like logistically speaking, it's just, I run this all through my head, like the transitions, and I've watched a couple videos on all these things too. And unfortunately, most of the videos that I've found, at least when it comes to like transitioning at races, like these are all like places that have been doing these things for years, and it's super organized and like very what's the word here? There's no gray area, it
Yeah.
seems like, with all the races that I've seen. So I'm trying to envision just that bottleneck of bikes, of people, and
Yeah.
like I don't fully understand why you would have incoming riders or people on bikes, and then I mean, it just sounds like a nightmare, like you said,
Yeah,
dude.
it was a headache and very, very high stress. And it was just like something bad was just bound to happen there. So I would imagine that changes, but we'll see. I guess onto the bike. So I rode the bike course before. Um,
I saw
there's
the
two,
recap video.
yeah, yeah. There's
Yeah.
two hills, 28 miles and like 40, 41 miles, somewhere in there. My mileage was a little bit off in like the recent podcast because we took a wrong turn out of transition. So we were like a couple miles off when I was like giving the real time feedback. I might have like said 28, but it was 26 or whatever. But like mid late 20s and then early 40s for these two hills. The first hill is at mile 28. It's like a mile long, really steep, but it's only a mile. The second hill at mile 40 is 3 miles long, really steep, but not quite as steep, and
Okay.
3 miles long. So the first hill, whatever, leading up to the first hill, you can fly on the bike course. Like there's rolling hills, and I think you accumulate somewhere around like 16 to 1800 feet of elevation by the time you get to mile 28. So it's like small rolling hills that just add up over the 28 miles. Like
Okay.
nothing hard, nothing you're climbing and like fighting to climb at all. Get to mile 28 and it's like the race all of a sudden starts because the hill gets to 15% for a couple minutes. So mile
It's pretty rough,
28,
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
28 miles in. If you don't know that incline, you could have screwed yourself within the first half of the bike course and just like overbiked, not
Pacing, yeah.
prepared for that mile, and just like completely messed up your effort. So I knew it was coming. I felt really good. I climbed it strong. You know, I knew there was about 13-ish miles after to kind of cruise again, and I felt great again. So
Yeah.
um, 28 to 40, 41, another couple rollers, and all of a sudden you get to 41 and it turns into, gut check time. It's like you're getting to the highest point in Center County, and it's really cool. There was a picture of you get to the top of the peak of that hill, and there was a photographer there literally taking your picture with the road sign that says you're at the highest point in Center County. Like it was pretty cool. So
And
um,
you get to see everybody's perfect pain face, right? You said it's at the top of that, right? When
yeah,
everybody's looking spectacular, and you gotta like
yeah,
what? You
yeah,
gotta like force that fake little
yeah,
smile that you're just like,
yeah,
oh yeah,
yeah.
I didn't just climb
Well,
a
I'm gonna
three
be honest.
mile mountain.
I didn't even I didn't even see the person. They must have been across the street because I saw I got the picture of myself. I actually haven't even posted any pictures of myself. I saw the picture of myself, but I didn't realize anybody was there. So I don't know if I'm sure there are some really entertaining like people are
Oh,
just
dude,
like dying. Yeah, yeah,
I would love that job.
yeah, yeah. But so mile 41, you get to the big climb, and this is where I first saw Aaron. That's why I was saying I would kind of bring that back. He was ahead of me up to this point. I get to the hill, and we literally start the hill pretty much at the same time, and I just like fly by him immediately. And he's like, "Yeah, let's go, coach." And I didn't realize it was him. So I'm like looking as I'm climbing, flying past some people, and I kind of slowed down just for a little bit because I noticed it was him. I was like, "Oh, yo, what's up? How you doing? How you feeling?" Because like you're not going to get in trouble for drafting or anything as you're going 6 miles an hour up a hill. Like so, I
Yeah.
just was like, "Who cares? I'll just talk to him for a couple minutes, whatever." Because again, I'm not trying to like win this race or anything. I just want to feel good after these hills. So we're just like chilling a little bit, and he's just like dead beat, like completely beat. murdered his legs. He's just like, dude, this hill is killing me. He's from California where there's nothing. So
Yeah.
he,
No,
at least that's what he says where he's at. There's nothing. So
he's he's in SoCal, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Or SoCal? Okay. Yeah. Up here, I mean, you probably find some pretty terrible places here, but
Yeah.
if you're in SoCal, I can see that being a problem.
Anyways, um,
That's cool, man.
yeah, I quickly realized I was like, yeah, we'll probably pass each other again. I'm just gonna like go a little bit because he was in his own pain cave and I was getting into mine. So I just kind of started trucking up the hill. There's a couple. It was kind of funny. There's a couple, not flats, but you could call them flats that were like 5 or 6% incline, and it felt like a break, which is pretty crazy because
Yeah.
obviously that's not a
Well,
break, but it's a break
after,
compared to 8 to 10%.
yeah, I was about to say, yeah, half, literally.
Yeah. So anyway, dude, I get to the top of this hill. I'm feeling good. There's a little bit of this is where the what they call it, the speed limit came into play. Going down the hill, so you ascend all that elevation in 3 miles. It was like 900 feet or something. But
Whew,
then you descend all of it in a mile. So you're flying.
flying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they smartly put in a speed limit that you can't go over 25 miles per hour between the top of the hill and the bottom of the hill. And there were literally speed mats. So if an athlete averaged over 25 miles per hour down the hill, they'd be disqualified. So this was like a very big deal for safety purposes. Everyone knew it. I didn't see anybody go too fast, so it was made very, very clear. Um, it wasn't hard to stay under. I also had a bike computer, so I could literally see my speed, and I stayed at like 22, 23 easily the whole time.
Okay. That's why
But
I wanted to ask too, like how you were monitoring that, or like if you're just
yeah,
cranking on the brakes the whole time, or
I
okay.
was. You have to. You literally have
Yeah.
to. This
Yeah.
this it was so steep. I think people could have easily, if they wanted to, like hit 60 miles an hour. It was, dude. Honestly, maybe more. I've never even sniffed anything that fast. I would imagine it maybe more for some people, but it was so steep. But anyway, got through that, and then like mile 42, 43 through like, dude, basically 55 is like flat, fast, tiny rollers. Mile 55, there's a tiny little hill to get back onto campus to T2. Um, but I didn't make it that far for the story. So I'll rewind a little bit. Mile 41, finished the hill. Aaron catches back up to me, so he was probably only a couple minutes behind me. Catches back up to me on like some rollers or some flats, and he's like, "Yo, we might be able to run this thing together." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, let's freaking do it." 30 seconds later, I'm flying over my handlebars, and he's in front of me, doesn't know. So it's like, all right, guess that's not happening. Can I even race? Can I even continue the race? All right, here's what happened. Mile 49 is where it happened for me. I went back into my training peaks later, and I looked at how fast I was going. Intuitively, like I told my wife, oh, I was probably going 30 miles an hour. I was literally going like 29.6 miles per hour when I crashed. So what happened was I was making a pass on an athlete, and when you pass, you're supposed to speed up and get at, whatever. You're supposed to speed up and not be within certain bike lengths of the athlete when you transition back over to the right side of the road, 6 bike lengths or whatever. So I sped up past the guy. I'm going over 30 to make the pass. But then it was like right on the ridge of a rolling hill. And then as soon as we got over the rolling hill, there was a left-hand turn that was really sharp. And I started hitting my brakes because I had to make this turn, but I already gained the speed from making the pass. So the road was really wet because the last like 10 minutes of the climb on the big hill, it started like raining really hard. Road's really wet, combination of some other things that the universe just kind of put into play, but road's really wet. I hit the brakes. going 30 plus miles an hour. I fishtail my back tire, and center of gravity's off immediately. So I just kind of like flew over my handlebars and actually landed right directly on my head, my shoulder, and my right hip. I skidded a little bit, and I thought I would have like ripped up my tri kit, but I didn't. So um, just kind
Priorities.
of, what'd you say?
Priorities.
Yeah, right. I'm like, oh, am I going to finish this race naked? Is what I was thinking, which was hilarious. But
Eh.
yeah,
I just
so
mostly refer to,
um,
ruining the tri kit. You know what I'm saying? Those things aren't cheap.
yeah, yeah, for real,
Yeah.
real,
You're replaceable, right?
yeah. But I'm like sitting there in a daze, and just so much stuff like going through my head. It's like this race was super important to me for a few reasons. Like state college, I absolutely just love state college. Big Penn State guy. I have a bunch of athletes here. It's the first race I'm doing like with this Victory Multisport team, and I want to race well for a lot of different reasons. And I have family, and it's just like all of this stuff all at
Pressure.
once. Yeah, like
Pressure.
these
Yeah.
that I didn't really feel before that exact moment. You know what I mean? It was really
Yeah.
strange. So now I'm like down in the dumps. Not only am I like a little dazed and confused, I'm like down in the dumps, and I'm like, can I like what is the rest of this race going to look like? I didn't even get off the ground for like 3 or 4 minutes because I didn't know if my hip was okay. So I'm just kind of sitting there and trying to get some clarity. Nobody stops, by the way. Not that I feel like anybody really should have, maybe, but nobody stops. Um, I wasn't laying
Blinders.
there. Yeah, I wasn't laying there lifeless, I guess, but whatever. I don't think that's a big deal, but it crossed my mind like, geez, nobody wants to just like see if I'm whatever. But
Like,
nobody
bro,
stops.
I just got done with this hill, man. I can't even
Yeah,
look down, straight up,
yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I end up standing up and realizing my hip is like completely screwed. Um, I have a headache, so I'm thinking, oh, geez, like what did I just do to my head? Um, but honestly, my hip hurt more than anything. Didn't even realize my shoulder until like halfway through the half marathon later, but I still had like 7 miles I needed to bike just to get to T2. And I'm looking at my bike to see if my bike is messed up. I couldn't tell if it was like messed up big time or just a little bit. Like my handlebars were all jacked up, but it looked like most of the mechanical was okay. So I was like, I clearly don't have 100% to give right now anyway. Let's just get on this thing and try to cruise it into T2. I'm not even going to think about the run right now. Like if I can run, I'll run. Just get to transition. So I got on. I think it was like 7 minutes after I crashed or something like that. I'm just kind of like slogging it into T2. So my bike split is not only 7 minutes slower than it would have been, it's 10 or so because I'm just kind of dogging it the last 7 miles. But
Hey,
um,
you got on the bike.
yeah, I know. And it's like I'm going it through my head, and all of a sudden I'm like, before I crashed, I'm like, okay, I'm going to put up a bike split that's going to be this. And my legs feel really good. And if I run this run split, then I'm going to be this finish time. And that would be awesome. And that's what I want. And maybe I'll pull back a little bit so I can have even fresher legs and still try to make this finishing time. It's all going through my head. And then just like, boom, it's like, can I even like get on the bike? Is my bike messed up? So it's like, get to T2. We'll figure the rest out. This turned into a completely different race, dude. Like, I had all these expectations and goals and like wanted to enjoy this day. And I did enjoy the day. I absolutely did. But the place is special to me. So I was just like, this is going to be awesome. And I'm going to give it 100%, whatever. Turned into a completely different race, mainly like a survival like kind of thing, which I guess I've experienced before, which was kind of helpful, but it sucked. So get back to T2, and I'm not even trying to be fast in T2 at all. I'm taking my time. I'm like going through things again in my head, and I'm like, what the heck just happened? Like, and then at the same time, I'm like, am I able to like limp through this? Am I able to run this? I have no idea. Like, what do I feel like? So just put my shoes on, and I'm like going to start the run and I'm walking and, you know, feeling like crap and unhappy and hip is just destroyed, still have a headache. Dude, not to mention everybody gets a headache when they do these things because they're severely dehydrated from these races.
Oh
So
yeah, dude. Yeah.
I'm not even thinking concussion, which, spoiler, I ended up going to medical immediately after the race, got treated for a concussion, nothing like crazy serious, but I wasn't even on my mind. I was just like, I feel like crap because I'm just raced pretty hard and now I have to slog through this half marathon, whatever. Start running. I'm trying to like hold a decent pace under 10 minutes. And I can for a little bit, but it's not feeling good. I did it for like a mile, maybe mile and a half, and I'm just like, this is not happening. I can't run this fast. So I started pulling back big time. I had to jog quite a bit. Um, I did, I finished, but it was more so just like frustrating than anything. It wasn't like, my body was broken down, but it wasn't in the same sense of like because I pushed so incredibly hard. It was more so like I my hip is just destroyed. I have to be careful.
Yeah.
So
Come
I
back
got
another
through.
day, dude.
What'd you say?
Just, live another day to come back, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you don't want to
exactly.
you don't want to sustain something major and then put yourself out for a couple months and then
No,
you
no,
still
yeah.
did the
So
race, dude. So,
yeah, and it's like it's crazy because I'm significantly more experienced right now. I'm not like I might not be in like the best shape of my life, which is fine. Like there's ebbs and flows to that. But this was my slowest 70.3. And I knew it wouldn't be a PR because of the bike course having so much elevation, 3,500 feet. But I did not, I was expecting close to an hour faster. So it's like this race, the time is what it is. But I also am at the same time just super proud that I finished it because I mean, I could have been like seriously injured, and thank God I wasn't. Which is fine. But um, I was able to finish it, so it turned into a different type of battle, and I got through it. So it's like a different type of the medal means
PR.
something. Yeah, it's a different type of PR. Exactly, dude. Love that.
Yep.
It's a different type
Yeah.
of PR. The medal means something different than like, hey, I pushed as hard as I could today. Dude, you said it perfectly. A different kind of PR, a completely different kind of race, and the mindset behind it was, no longer, hey, let's put a good run together. It was, let's make it to the finish line and like finish the race. So,
I also wanted to mention something too. I think, you know, outside of obviously the side of competition, people want to hit PRs, people want to improve. I think we talked about this on this podcast multiple times, but one of my favorite parts of this whole thing, and outside of a few other reasons, like, trying to assist some of the people at the Hill Pursuit and Victory Multisport with nutrition and food, one of the reasons why I even want to pursue doing a full Ironman is for the mindset. You're going to get to a place, like you said, there's no such thing as an easy Ironman. There's no such thing as an easy
right,
triathlon.
right.
So it's just like, I want to see where my brain goes. And regardless of my time or however it ends up turning out, I'm going to get to a place where I'm going to be uncomfortable, whether it's the swim, the bike, or the run. And you just got to see what you have, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
and that's my takeaway for you, I guess, is
yeah.
that you still completed it. It was a different type of PR, and you got to see a mindset shit.
Yeah,
So,
for sure, dude. I mean,
yeah.
it's you've done some really hard things, so but at the same time, not that this full Ironman is going to be, excuse me, like harder than 24 straight hours of pull-ups. Maybe it will be, maybe it won't be, but at the very least, it's going to be different, completely different.
That's
Like
what, yeah.
the type of hard will be completely new to you. And even if you do 10 Ironman or 10 70.3 races, not every type of hard or every like everything you know experience or every um type of adversity that you face in these races is the same. It's not the
No.
same every time. Like it's not even close. So every race is completely different. I mean, every single one is completely different. So a lot of people just want to get across that line, and no, that wasn't my mindset going into the race at all. But it sure as heck became my mindset, and I didn't think that would happen. So it's a little humbling, but at the same time, it's my probably my proudest finish, being as banged up as I am. And I say am as I am because my hip is still a little messed up. I did go for a run today, and it feels manageable. So um, I'm not limping in my running at all right now, which is good. I mean, it's not 100%, but it's fine. So, and I only say that because I'm scheduled to race Ohio 70.3 in 2 weeks. And I still really, really want to for other reasons. I have a lot of family out there. I can have a lot of support at that race. I raced it last year for its inaugural location in Sandusky, Ohio, where my wife's family has a lake house. So, I mean, now it's got this whole other vibe to the race, but I do want to race that one really well. And I ride that bike course literally every time I'm out at the lake house. So I know it very, very well. It's flatter than flat can possibly be. There are no hard left or right turns. So of course a crash can happen for something dumb like someone dropping a water bottle in front of you and you swerve or you run it over. But aside from that stuff, I'm not going to be like crashing on any hard right or left hand turns. That's for sure.
Well,
But
let's not jinx ourselves and make sure you double down on that Amazon Prime Day helmet, you know?
no, my helmet was great. No cracks in the
I
helmet at
mean,
all.
clearly, bro, you're talking to me right now and you're still looking good, dude. So yeah, you're fine.
I'm just saying, like, that's very common. Like, if you do take a fall, the helmets work, right? But it's still not uncommon that it would like have a small crack in it, and then you're done. You're not wearing it again.
No.
So no, there's no cracks in it, which is fantastic. I mean, those helmets cost enough money that they better not have a crack.
I was about to say, you want to send your boy a referral and make sure also that like my head's probably a little bit bigger than yours. So you got to get me like the freaking, the double XL one, even though I'm only 5'5", bro. I don't have a little head. Because I mean, hey, like you got done saying or like you said at the beginning, dude, this is my first one, right? So like, who knows? I might be going over twice.
Oh, jeez. Now
Uh,
you have to make sure you double down. You just jinx yourself.
yeah, I know, right?
Uh,
Yeah, I'm over here trying to, I'm buying
yeah,
secondhand everything, and I'm just like, yeah, the one thing I'm not going to buy secondhand, bro, is a helmet.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, in summary, I mean, the run also finished on the 50-yard line of Beaver Stadium. You get to come in the tunnel that the team, Penn State Nittany Lion football team comes through, which for me was pretty freaking awesome. I've stood on the sides of that tunnel and watched the team come through there. I don't know, a handful of times, and it was just really cool to be like, oh man, that's where I saw so and so and so and so and so, whatever, years ago or last year, whatever. But yeah, it was pretty sweet, and the 50-yard line finish was really, really cool. So it's a race I really hope that I can do again. I don't know about next season necessarily because of timing of other things, but it was awesome. I loved it, and I'll definitely be back. If not for anything else, but some revenge on the course. So for sure, I can't wait to do that one again. Um, I think we went on long enough. I didn't even think it would go that long. But what do you got? You got anything?
uh, Pretty much like all I'll finish up with is that you said that this might not be the hardest thing that I've done, but I was just thinking about this. I'm good at pull-ups, man, right? I don't know if I'm good at swimming. I'm decent at running and not built for biking. So maybe this might be the hardest thing that I've ever done, dude. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It's just, yeah. Sorry, that just ran through my brain. I'm like, is this gonna be the
Yeah.
hardest thing that I've done? Probably, just because I'm thinking of my mechanics, and your boy is built to lift weights. I'm not built to
Yeah.
sit there and do cardio all the
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah.
like
I know.
I'm
Well, you still
slowly
might.
getting.
I think you're gonna surprise yourself, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm slowly getting skinny over here too. So I would hope so with all the freaking calories I've been burning, and
yeah. Yeah.
well, yeah. But that's pretty much all I had though.
Yeah, I think that's all I got too. So we'll wrap it up. This was episode 77 of the Hill Pursuit podcast. I referenced it earlier in the episode, but we do have a website, hillpursuit.com. I posted a blog recently kind of recapping the race experience that I just went through on this podcast for myself. Not really much about the day as a whole. So we touched on a little bit of everything, but but if you want to read that blog and kind of see how the race went for me, what was going on through my head at different times, that's in there. That's on the website. Of course, Ken's and other nutrition experts' contact information is also listed on the website, along with other coaching info. Links to this podcast, all other podcasts, are also found on the website. Again, hillpursuit.com. Podcast is on anything that you listen to podcasts on. Spotify, Podbean, Google, whatever. Also, if you're listening to one of those streaming services, check out the YouTube channel at some point. We just broadcast the podcast, but we do have some cool videos, race previews, race recaps in terms of some videos and race day preps and things like that. Some other like just random training videos. So check the YouTube channel out. That's just Hill Pursuit. Find us on whatever the socials are at Hill Pursuit, Instagram, Facebook. Ken, you want to drop your progressive strength stuff?
Progressive Strength Project at both for Instagram, Facebook, and then progressivestrengthproject.com for my webpage.
So check out all that stuff. Thanks for making it this far. This was a little long, but appreciate the listen. This was a Happy Valley 70.3 race recap, and we will see you next time.